Hi everyone, it's Jackie here again. Today is day 2 of my quest for betterment. Thank you for everybody who gave their feedback. I really appreciated the messages that were sent, and it's really inspiring to see that quite a few people want to join me in this journey. So that's really cool to know that maybe I'm inspiring other people to do the same sort of thing. So yay for everyone. Yay. Can I just say if I could get you all to subscribe to this, just so that you can see my updates on a regular basis, because I won't go and, you know, send you personal messages every time I post a video, although you probably would appreciate it. I don't know, or maybe you wouldn't. Anyway, so if you could subscribe, that would be great, and that way you will see my video as soon as it gets posted online. Anyway, so day 2. What I wanted to talk to you about today was how I went through this diet that I did recently. I told you a bit about it yesterday, how it was a group that got involved. But a lot of people have said to me, well, how did you lose 13 kgs? So I'll talk to you about that. I've also got the photos, the before after photos, and all my measurements and everything, which I will show you. I'm not very computer savvy, so I'm just doing old school and showing them off the computer screen. If anyone can tell me how I could actually add photos on this, that would be really awesome. But anyway, so I'll show you those in a moment. But first of all, when I decided I would take up the challenge, I thought, well, okay, what's reasonable in that time? And I said to myself, well, you know, 15 kg would be great. I didn't know how realistic that was, but I thought, oh yeah, okay, we'll just go for that. I really want to get down to 70 kgs because according to BMI, and we all know BMI is a lot of crap, but according to BMI, I will no longer be obese if I'm at 70 kgs. So yeah, anyway, so 70 kgs, yeah, I think that's reasonable. But based on where I was at the time, that's 25 kgs, and I knew 25 would certainly be impossible. So I thought, well, 15 would be reasonable, I thought. And as I said, 13 was a little disappointing, but I got to 13, which is better than nothing, you know. So that was great. Anyway, so how did I do it? Well, I decided at the beginning that it wasn't going to be any point trying to do exercise. The reason for this is, well, there are a couple of reasons. Firstly, well, when I'm lazy, I can be honest about that. Secondly, I have very irregular lifestyle, should I say. I do need to put some routine and regularity into my lifestyle, and until I'm able to do that, I didn't think it was any point trying to schedule in regular, because it would need to be regular, wouldn't it? Regular exercise. So I thought, well, exercise not going to happen. Also, many years ago, I used to be a bit of a gym junkie. I'd go to the gym quite a lot, and I think, you know, at the time when, at my peak, when I was going to the gym really regularly, I was actually going 3 times a day, 5 days a week, which was definitely overkill. Certainly my lifestyle at the time allowed me to do that, and I certainly wouldn't be able to do it now. But the important thing was that it wasn't a huge amount of change. So for me, I don't think it was a matter of doing more exercise. For me, the issue has always been my eating habits. So that's how I decided for my weight loss, I wasn't going to look at exercise or change in anything like that. I was simply going to look at my diet. And what I thought was, well, what better than whole foods? Okay, I can remember many years ago when I was last living in Paris, which was 8 years ago now, I went on a gluten-free diet for a little while, and I actually felt really healthy on it. I felt really healthy, and I thought the key for that was using whole foods, because obviously in a gluten-free diet you can't use grains that have gluten in them, and you can't have processed foods that have gluten additives. And it's surprising how many food items have gluten in them. So to avoid all the issues of does this item have gluten or not, what I would just say is, well, okay, let's just not have those processed foods. Let's just have, you know, piece of fruit or vegetables or things that you cook from scratch that you know exactly what's in them. Luckily for me, I have the most wonderful husband in the world. He does all the cooking. He cooks all the meals. And he, back 8 years ago, he was my boyfriend at the time. He was extremely happy to help me with my gluten-free thing that I was doing. And he used to cook all the meals and make sure that everything I had was in the boundaries that I had created for my little diet thing. This time around too, he was extremely supportive, and we sat down for a few days before my diet started, and I talked to him about what I wanted to do, what foods I wanted to eat, blah blah blah, and he made sure that he created something that I could eat and enjoy, but he was also making stuff for himself and for the kids that, you know, obviously they could enjoy, but he would sometimes do something that was like a substitute that I could have. He didn't do that a lot. I didn't expect him to do that a lot because that's a huge ask. But, you know, what he did was amazing. He made some beautiful, beautiful meals for me. And, I mean, you can't underestimate the, how important that kind of support is when you're having on a diet like this. So, I mean, he was just amazing. And, you know, I really, really... really love them for that. So anyway, how my diet went, right, from day one of my diet, so remember it was a 10-week diet. Day one, I was going to start with just eating raw fruit and vegetables, and that was it. It makes it really simple. Raw fruit and vegetables, easy. So I was eating a lot of salads. Luckily, I really like salads. I really like raw fruit and veggies anyway, so it wasn't a big issue for me. When I was younger, I used to eat a lot of carrots. You know, like literally when I was at uni, when I first started at uni, I would take 2 raw carrots, just chuck them in my bag, didn't peel them or anything, and that was my breakfast in the morning. I'd go to the gym. Straight after that, I would eat a carrot on my way to my first lecture. And everyone would laugh at me and thought it was funny, but, you know, I felt nourished and everything. You know, when you're peckish, you just want to keep sort of nibbling at stuff. You know, eating a carrot was an easy way to just keep nibbling and keep yourself busy eating, but not really, you know, I could have done with the same with a chocolate bar, and obviously the calorie content would have been a lot higher. So, you know, having a carrot in my hand was, you know, good for me, I suppose. Anyway, so raw fruit and vegetables, I did that for 2 weeks. Obviously, I drank a lot of water with that, and I tried to increase my water content a lot. But then, of course, I thought, well, you know, I can't be entirely strict, so what else? And I guess it's a bit of a joke, but I said, well, how about I include wine with that? And the reason I could justify drinking wine was because I can't drink a lot of wine. Obviously, if you're only eating raw fruit and vegetables, you're not going to feel very full, you know, and the wine's going to go to your head a lot faster, and I don't like the idea of being drunk or anything. So I thought, well, I'll just continue drinking wine because that's cool. So I'd maybe have 1 or maybe 2 glasses at the most, you know, with a meal, and yeah, and then other than that, just drinking water. So anyway, so those first 2 weeks went extremely well. It was, you know, once I'd made my mind up that I was going to do that, then that was all good. and I didn't falter at all. I was really, really pleased with myself. And then I thought, okay, well, you know, you can't live off just raw fruit and veggies for ages. You know, you've got to add other things, obviously, like protein and that. So I decided, right, okay, I'll after those 2 weeks, I would change to raw fruit, vegetables, plus cooked. So that would allow for things like potatoes, which I don't really eat a heck of a lot of anyway, but, you know, that sort of thing. And courgettes and aubergine and that sort of thing. And it just made life easier for my husband as well when he's cooking a meal for the family. And also meats of some sort, so like, well, I consider eggs as meats, because it's, you know, protein. So, you know, obviously omelettes would be good, omelette with vegetables and stuff in it would be fantastic. Big fat steak, I love big fat steak, that's good. I love pork, so yeah, some of that, some chicken. And yeah, so that was going to be my food routine for another 2 weeks. They say that, you know, around the 3-week mark of any sort of change of lifestyle, it starts getting hard. And yeah, around 3 weeks it's got really hard. And I actually, by that point, I started feeling really depressed. Really, really depressed. I felt like the joy had gone out of my life. The things that I would normally take for granted, like, you know, walking in the supermarket and picking up a packet of chocolate biscuits or a chocolate bar or something. I wasn't doing that anymore, and it was really hard. Well, you know, the fact that I'd made my mind up to do it was okay, but the fact that I wasn't able to do it, I felt like I was cheating myself out of the good things in life, which sounds really dramatic, but that's kind of what it felt like. And I felt really, really depressed, and I didn't want to go out, and I didn't want to do anything, and I was sitting around kind of just feeling really crap in general. It wasn't good, and I did start to cheat, I should say. You know, I was having a few little bits and pieces every day, which I shouldn't have had, but I was still seeing a lot of progress, and I was still losing the weight and everything. So, you know, obviously if I hadn't, I might have lost a lot more weight, but I guess I needed it. And yeah, so for the rest of the diet, I, you know, carried on like that. But after by the 4th week, I felt that I hadn't lost as much as I wanted to. I started to plateau a little bit, so I went back to eating raw fruit and vegetables, and then I left it for a week or so, and then I would kind of just gauge it on how I felt. Did I feel like I was losing weight? Did I feel like my body was kicking into another gear? Because I could really start feeling at some point. I think it was about week 5 where I was, you know, I could start feeling certain areas of my body were like tingling and sweating a lot, and really mobile, you know, like rather than feeling just like, for example, my lower thighs, they weren't feeling as thick and tough anymore. They were starting to feel a bit floppy, and, you know, it was kind of like you could separate the fat out from the, I don't know if it really was, whatever. But anyway, I started feeling really good. It felt really like something was happening. So that was really inspiring and motivating. So, you know, when I felt that I needed a bit of motivation, I would go back to the raw fruit and veggies thing. Anyway, so I did that for a while, but then towards the end I started to slow down a lot more, because I wanted this to be a long-term thing. And when I used to talk to people about how depressed I was feeling, they said, well, maybe you're going too hard out. You know, it has to be sustainable, and yeah, and I said, yeah, it does. It has to be sustainable. So, you know, I was trying to incorporate more normal meals so that it wasn't a big shock at the end, or that I could continue as I was once the challenge had finished. However, you know, by the last week I thought, right, last ditch effort, and I went back to the raw fruit and vegetables again. And yeah, like I said, I didn't quite hit my 15 kgs, and I was really disappointed that particular day. But, you know, I mean, I didn't go in it to win. I mean, I'm really proud that I came third, but I didn't really do it to win. I just needed a little bit of external motivation to do it for myself. And, you know, I mean, it's irrelevant what anyone else did, because you're not comparing yourself to anyone else. You're doing it for yourself, and what works for you is not going to work for somebody else and everything. So, yeah, so how did I lose those 13 kgs? Solely on diet, and the basis was just cutting out all the processed shit and just sticking to whole good foods, nothing fabricated, you know. And yeah, and I did. I felt really good, knowing that I was able to make those big changes in that period of time. So now that the diet's finished, like I said, I've, you know, gone back to eating crap. I am a binge eater, so if there's something that I really like, I'll probably eat 10 of them rather than, you know, just moderate myself and eat one. You know, whether it be chocolate bars or, I don't know, cucumber. I could eat a whole cucumber in one go, but if you think about it, eating a 12-pack of Snickers bars, which is what I was doing before my diet, and I'm not talking about those little Snickers bars, I'm talking about the full-size Snickers bars, 12 in a go, that's just crazy, which, you know, obviously, you know, explains why I am the size I am. Anyway, but, so, yeah, so binge eating is a real issue for me. I've been doing a lot of eating ice creams, you know, things that I felt that I was depriving myself of while I was on this diet. I've kind of gone, okay, diet's over now. I'm going to, you know, take advantage of the fact that I can eat this now or that now. And, you know, and the other thing is, because I'm living in France now, there's so many things here that I've never seen before. You know, so many biscuits or chocolate bars or ice creams or desserts, or, you know, not even just those sorts of, but, you know, there's so many food items that I've never in my life seen before. And I don't want to deprive myself of, you know, not experiencing those. And you know, I've tried a few things. Some things aren't for me, you know, and other things, you know, I've gone, oh, wow, that's really nice. So, anyway, you know, things like croissants, for example, you know, I've had croissants, everyone's had croissants, you know, one croissant's, you know, generally just as good as another, especially in Paris, but the thing is, I've had a croissant, I know what it is, and I don't need them, so I don't have them. Same with baguette. Baguette, really, really nice in Paris, so, you know, if you get a good one, they're just amazing. You know, a fresh baguette with some butter on it, it's just absolutely amazing. But to be honest, I don't really need it. And I know I don't need it, you know, like, it doesn't, it's just bread, it's nothing special. Port Salut cheese, that's quite special for me. I used to buy it sometimes when I felt rich in New Zealand, because it's quite expensive, but here it's really cheap, of course. So, you know, I bought some the other day, and I think I ate the whole thing in 2 days. It was really nice, and now I kind of think, okay, well, you know, I think I've had my fill of Port Salut, even just for a little while, so, you know, I probably won't be buying some for a while now. And that's the other thing, you know, if it's not there, if I don't buy it, it's not in the house, and then I won't be eating it. So, you know, I'm trying to avoid things that I know I'm just going to binge on. So just leave them in the shop. You know, if I can walk past it in the shop, that's great, because it means I won't be taking it home, because otherwise I'm just going to eat it. You know, I'm not going to say, oh, I'll have one now and then save the rest for later. No, I'll probably just eat the whole lot. So just don't do it. Okay, so anyway, let me show you my before and afters. Okay, so I have my husband's laptop right in front of me. I'm going to see if I can pause this and show you my pictures. Okay, we'll flip it around. Okay. So if you see here, this is my before and after photo, front side. Now, I don't know about you, but I can't really see a lot of difference there. A lot of people say, oh yeah, look at the difference, but me, I couldn't see. So that's my before and afters. This is the side. Now that one's a little more noticeable, a little more. So yeah, it's pretty good. The back side. I remember a few people made a comment saying, oh, I better move that hand off my butt. Okay, yeah, so the back side photos, yeah, that's probably a lot more noticeable, don't you think? So yeah, that's pretty good. And okay, that was just the weight. So I was 95.1, and then I went down to 82. Okay, and those are all my stats. Okay, so there was the weight measurement, the chest, biceps, tummy, thighs, hips, and belt, and all the percentage change and all that. Okay, so yeah. So anyway, so those were all my results from my weight loss challenge. I won't be doing that again in a hurry, just because the group of ladies are on holiday, because it's summer holidays here at the moment. But I will be doing it once everyone gets back into the swing of things in September, I think. So yeah. So yeah, just a tip. Not that anyone here needs tips from me. I'm certainly not an expert, but you know, this worked for me. It's not going to work for everybody. So and I know for a fact that in order for me to actually go up a notch and really make some changes, I have some certain problem areas that are certainly not going to change at all. My belly, and by the way, I'm doing a video on my belly, maybe tomorrow, we'll see. Yeah. Yeah, so to really attack some problem issues, I do have to incorporate exercise. That's an absolute necessity. I know that. When and how, I'm not too sure. But for the meantime, I haven't technically started a diet as such, but I am starting to bring my mind around to thinking, okay, I've really got to stop excluding all those unnecessary foods from my life. Ice cream, and haven't been eating a heck of a lot of chocolate as such, but you know, that sort of thing. You know, the unnecessary stuff. Obviously, if you have a really good meal and you enjoy it, then that's fine. There should be nothing wrong with that. But it's when you just eat crap and eat it continually, then that's the problem. So I'm identifying what my issues are with eating and with gaining weight and stuff, and what's going to be your issue, or for those of you who've asked me, well, you know, how do you lose 13 kgs? Well, what I did isn't necessarily going to help you, so you just have to find what's working for you. And by all means, try it, but yeah, I mean, we can only try and see what happens. So anyway, thank you for watching my day 2. I was intending for this to be a really short video, and it's like 23 minutes. I think most of it's just babble, and I apologize for that. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed at least hearing how that happened, and you can have a look at my awesome photos and go, holy crap, you know, whoa, about that. That's cool. I don't mind. But one thing, yeah, I'd just like to reiterate what I said at the beginning. If you do want to keep following me, can you please subscribe, because that way you will get the updated video each day when I make it, and you'll be up to date. Okay, so thank you again to everybody who sent your messages. I really appreciated that, and it's amazing to know that there are so many lovely people out there. So take care, you all, and sending lots of love to all those people out there who miss me, because I know there are a few of you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, take care, bye.